Hey everyone, welcome to this week's live session. Today's topic is Best Python IDEs. But before we begin, I'd like to thank our viewers for tuning in and actively participating in these sessions. Let's wait for a while for people to join. I would also like to welcome our viewers joining in from Facebook. Also, we have a dedicated team here to answer all your queries. So, if you have any questions, let us know in the chat section and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Alright, I see a lot of people joined us. So, for the ones joined now, today's topic of discussion is Best Python IDEs. So without any delay, let's begin. Alright, I see a few more have joined us. So this session will be about today's topic, which is Best Python IDEs. So let us begin. So first, we'll get familiar with what exactly an IDE or Integrated Development Environment is. Then, we will have a look on the features of an IDE. After that, we will discuss the best Python IDEs for every scenario. In the end, I'm not going to rank the IDEs just for the sake of it. Instead, I will discuss which IDE you should choose that suits your purpose. So without much ado, let's get started. Let's start by learning what exactly an IDE is. An Integrated Development Environment, or an IDE, enables programmers to consolidate the different aspects of writing a computer program. IDEs increase programmers' productivity by combining common activities of writing software into a single application, editing source code, building executables, and debugging. We will discuss these features in detail in the next section. Let us now look into some of the features of an IDE. An IDE that knows the syntax of your language can provide visual cues, keywords that have special meaning like class in Java are highlighted by different colors. Let's compare the two code samples. As you can make out, syntax highlighting makes code easier to read by visually clarifying different elements of language syntax. This also helps in pointing out errors if there are any in parts of your code. Next is the autocomplete. When the IDE knows your programming language, it can anticipate what you're going to type next. You can also see how autocomplete works in your IDE or Integrated Development Environment. Generally, IDEs are really good at anticipating what you're more likely to type next, which makes coding significantly faster and simpler. Followed by that, we have the building executables. IDEs take care of interpreting the Python code, running Python scripts, building executables, as well as debugging the applications. IDEs provide automated build procedures for languages, so the act of compiling and executing code is abstracted away. Next, we have debugging. No programmer avoids writing bugs and programs with errors. So when a program does not run correctly, IDEs provide debugging tools that allow programmers to examine different variables and inspect their code in a deliberate way. IDEs also provide hint while coding to prevent errors before compilation. Next, we have the top Python IDEs. Now that we know quite a bit about integrated development environments, let's go ahead and take a look on the popular Python IDEs. Note that we won't be ranking these IDEs just for the sake of it, because we believe that different IDEs are meant for different purposes. But we will surely discuss which IDE you should choose according to your needs and requirements. This will help remove any doubts you have and make choice that best suits for your purpose. So Let's go ahead and take a look at the best IDEs for Python development. The first one is IDLE, or Integrated Development and Learning Environment. This is a default editor that comes with Python. When you install Python, IDLE is also installed by default and therefore it's free to use. This software helps a beginner to learn Python easily. IDLE software package is optional for many Linux distributors. The tool can be used on Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. Most notable features of IDLE include ability to search for multiple files. It has an interactive interpreter with colorizing of input, output, and error messages. Smart indenting along with basic text editor features like undo, call tips, and auto-completion, and finally, a very capable debugger. IDLE is a decent IDE for learning as it's lightweight and simple to use. However, it's not optimum for larger projects. Followed by IDLE, we have PyCharm. PyCharm is an IDE for professional developers. It is created by the JetBrains, a company known for creating great software development tools. These are two versions of PyCharm. Those are community and professional. The community, which is an open source version, lightweight and is good for Python and scientific development. Whereas on the other hand, professional is a paid version with fully feature-loaded IDE with support for web development as well as many other purposes. This IDE is suitable for professional developers and facilitates development of large Python projects. The most notable features of this IDE include Intelligent Python Code Editor supports for CoffeeScript, JavaScript, CSS, and TypeScript. Smart Code Navigation, quick and safe code refactoring, support features like accessing databases directly from the IDE, for example MySQL, and some other databases. PyCharm provides all major features that a good IDE should provide, such as code completion, code inspections, error highlighting and fixes, debugging, version control system, and code refactoring. All these features come out of the box. Personally speaking, PyCharm is my favorite IDE for Python development. The only major complaint I have heard about PyCharm is that it's resource intensive. If you have a computer with smaller amount of RAM, usually less than 4 GB, your computer may lag. Followed by PyCharm, we have Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code or VS Code is a free and open source IDE created by Microsoft that can be used for Python development. Visual Code is a lightweight and packed with powerful features that only some of the paid IDEs offer. Some of the most notable features of Microsoft Visual Studio are: the editor provides smart code completion based on function definition, imported modules, as well as variable types. You can work with Git as well as other SCM providers. You can also do code debugging with this editor. Visual Studio Code provides extensions to add additional features like code linting, themes, and other services. You can add extensions to create a Python development environment as per your need in Visual Studio Code. It provides features such as intelligent code completion, linting for potential errors, debugging, unit testing, and so on. This is the reason why it is becoming the most popular amongst Python developers. Followed by Microsoft Visual Studio Code, we have Sublime Text 3. Sublime Text is a popular code editor that supports many languages including Python. Though it is a paid IDE, it offers free trial for an indefinite period of time with occasional pop-ups. It has basic built-in support for Python. The editor supports Mac OS, Windows, and Linux operating systems. It's fast, highly customizable, and has a huge community. The most notable features of Sublime are syntax highlighting. It has command palette implementation that accepts text input from users. Next, efficient project directory management. And finally, supports additional packages for web and scientific Python development. It has basic built-in support for Python when you install it. However, you can install packages such as debugging, auto-completion, code linting, etc. There are also various packages for scientific development, Django, Flask, and so on. So basically, you can customize Sublime Text to create a fully fledged Python development environment as per your needs. Followed by Sublime Text, we have Atom. Atom is a free and open source code editor developed by the GitHub that can be used for Python development. Its features are similar to Sublime Text. The Atom is highly customizable. You can install packages as per your needs. Some of the most commonly used packages in Atom are Autocomplete Python, Linterflake 8, Python Debugger, and many more. Some of the most notable features of Atom are support for large number of plugins, smart code completion, support for custom commands for the user to interact with the editor, and finally, support for the cross-platform development. Personally speaking, I would prefer Atom to Sublime Text for Python development. Next we have the Jupyter. Jupyter is widely used in the field of data science. It is a tool for people who have just started with data science, and it's completely free. It is completely easy to use. Interactive data science IDEs across many programming languages that just not work as an editor but also as an educational tool or presentation. Some of the most notable features of Jupyter are its support for numerical simulation, data cleansing, machine learning, data visualization, and statistical modeling. Followed by that, combined code, text, and images for greater user experience. And lastly, integration of data science libraries like NumPy, Pandas, and Matplotlib. It is the go-to IDE when starting with data science, and it actually stays with you even in the complex implementation of machine learning projects and algorithms. So, followed by Jupyter, we have the Spider. Spider is a free, scientific integrated development environment written in Python. This software is designed for and by scientists who can integrate with Matplotlib, SciPy, NumPy, Pandas, Python, IPython, SymPy, and other open source softwares. The easiest way to get up and running with Spider is by installing Anaconda distribution. If you don't know, Anaconda is a popular distribution for data science and machine learning. The Anaconda distribution includes hundreds of packages including NumPy, Pandas, Skitlearn, Matplotlib, and so on. Some of the most notable features include the support for automatic code completion and splitting, supports plotting different types of charts and data manipulation. Followed by that, we have integration of data science libraries such as NumPy, Pandas, and Matplotlib. Spider has some of the greatest features such as autocode completion, debugging, and IPython shell. However, it lacks in features compared to PyCharm. Followed by Spider, we have the PyDev. PyDev is a free third-party plugin for Eclipse. It is basically an IDE that is used for Python development. It is linear in size. It mainly focuses on refactoring of Python code, debugging in the graphical pattern, analysis of code, etc. It is a strong Python interpreter. As it's a plugin for Eclipse, it becomes more flexible for the developers to use the IDE for development of an application with so many features. In the open source IDE, it is one of the most preferred IDEs by the professional developers. Some of the most notable features of PyDev include Django integration, autocode correction, and code coverage. It supports some of the rich features like type hinting, refactoring, debugging, and code analysis. Finally, it has a good support for Python web development. Followed by PyDev, we have Thani. Thani is a Python dedicated IDE that comes with Python 3 built in. Once you install it, you can start writing Python code. It's completely free. Thani is intended for beginners. The user interface is kept completely simple so that the beginners will find it easy to get started with. Some of the most notable features include a simple debugger, and Thorny offers the ability to the user to see how Python internally evaluates the written expression, automatic syntax error detection, and finally, a detailed view of the variables used in the Python program or a Python project. Though Thorny is intended for beginners, it has several useful features that also make it a good IDE for a fully fledged Python developer. Some of the major features are syntax error highlighting, debugger, code completion, step-through expression evaluation, etc. Followed by Thorny, we have the Wing. Wing is also a popular and powerful IDE in today's market with a lot of good features which the developers require for Python development. It comes with a strong debugger and a smart editor that aims to make Python development interactive and fun. The Wing is a paid IDE and the pricing ranges from $95 to $179 depending on the variants. It also provides a 30-day trial version for the developers to have a taste of all its features. Some of the major features include immediate feedback to your Python code, support for test-driven development with unit test, PyTest, and Django testing framework, assisting remote development, auto-code completion, and lastly, you can check for debug data and try out bug fixes interactively without restarting your app. Just imagine how good is that. Now, we will move ahead and understand which IDE should you choose and when. Now that we know about some of the best IDEs for Python, let's go ahead and see which IDEs are the best based on certain terms. Now, are you an experienced developer or just starting with coding? So, if you are a beginner, then IDLE and Thorny would be the best and perfect choice for your first time. In case if you're an intermediate programmer, then PyCharm, Microsoft Visual Studio Code, Atom, Sublime Text 3 all will be good if you're an existing programmer and you're coming from a different programming language. Now next is, what do you intend to do or what kind of a project you're working in? If you're working with data science, then Spider, Jupyter Notebook, PyCharm, the professional version, are the best IDEs for data science and machine learning applications. If you are from web development, then Microsoft Visual Studio Code, PyCharm Professional are the best IDEs. Followed by that, we have the scripting. Atom, PyDev, Sublime Text 3, PyCharm Community, the free version, are the best IDEs if you are working on Python projects and other automation, QA, or quality analysis projects. Now let's move ahead and understand. It also depends whether your hardware will be able to handle the IDEs you throw at it. So the first types are the basic ones, which are the Pentium, Celeron. So IDLE, Atom, Sublime Text 3, online IDEs. These are less resource intensive and therefore suitable for basic hardwares. Followed by that, the Intel Core series, where the PyCharm, Jupyter, Spider, Microsoft Visual Studio Code, Eclipse plus PyDev. These IDEs are resource intensive and are recommended to use a good hardware specification. Now, so as I promised, I will recommend an IDE that I personally use and prefer for each scenario given below. You're free to explore and use other IDEs as well, but these are the go-to IDEs in my opinion. So, for data science, Jupyter Notebook. I have worked on numerous machine learning projects and this IDE supports everything I use it for so far. Followed by that, we have the next scenario, which is none other than the web development. Microsoft Visual Studio Code. It is a very stable IDE that can be used for Python development and for web development as well. It feels very natural while building Python web applications using this particular IDE. And now the next scenario, which is none other than the scripting. PyCharm community or free version. It is a very powerful IDE with hosts of features. This is going to be your go-to framework if you work solely on Python projects and other system automation tasks powered by Python. So there you go. By now, you must be able to choose the IDEs that suits your needs and requirements. Go start developing amazing applications using Python. We also have Python YouTube playlist that covers everything from the very basics to advanced Python concepts. Don't forget to check that out if you are interested in Python development. The link is added in the description box below. And with that, we have reached the end of this video. Hope you liked it. Think we missed anything important? Let us know in the live chat or in the comment section below if you're watching later. Thank you for watching the video and stay tuned for more from Simplilearn.